right, so we got that clear. Hey, what has happened in Ferguson, Missouri over the past few months, and in particular what is going on now still there today, is sort of a backdrop for a community leadership meeting that's going on here. It's a whole new deal. It's called Rise San Diego. Tony Young, who I'm sure you remember as a city council member, ran for mayor. You have had a lot in your career here as a civic organizer and a civic leader. Welcome. Good morning.
Thank you.
So this is all about Rise San Diego. First of all, what is that?
Rise San Diego is an organization that myself and Dwayne Crenshaw started. As you know, Dwayne Crenshaw and I ran against each other in city council. We're actually adversaries, and we are just we're really interested in civic debate. And so this is a part of an organization strategy when it comes to the civic debate that really focuses on civil discussions on issues, but also it's about identifying urban leaders in our community and trying to support them so that they can take on some of these issues.
And when you talk about debate, and we were mentioning before, we were talking about Ferguson, Missouri, the debate didn't happen there, just the consequences happened, right. And maybe with debate beforehand in some way, some shape or form, it didn't have to happen.
It's a combination of two things. You want to have urban leaders who are prepared to address some of these very complex situations in urban communities. Ferguson is one example, but you have issues here in San Diego. So you want to be informed, you want to have leaders be exposed to the issues and being able to actually change some of these issues, but also you want to be able to encourage a civil discussion on these issues, and then finally get the decision maker to listen to these urban dwellers who have these ideas and issues that are important to them.
Do you feel like we have some of the same characteristics, perhaps, as a Ferguson, Missouri, here in San Diego?
Well, I think that's part of what we're going to do. We're going to talk about that on Friday when it comes to our community. We're going to have more than a couple of hundred people just sitting there talking about some of these issues and, what are the similarities, and then what do we need to do to make sure that we don't have a city that erupts in that type of violence and confrontation, and really encourage a civil discussion, and finally to have the leaders who actually make decisions on behalf of these urban communities to listen and hear what we have to say.
And that's part of it. You said identifying civic leaders, a new round of leaders. Youth in our community is so important, and identifying who's there to lead, being black, white, Asian, whatever the case may be.
We're talking about urban dwellers, so it could be East Village or San Ysidro or Mid-City, and we're talking about 20-something to 40-something-year-old emerging urban leaders who really need to be fostered and supported. And I would have to say that the great thing about Rise San Diego is that we're actually working closely with the University of San Diego, which is the preeminent leadership school on the West Coast, to really create an institute at USD to foster new urban leaders and be a part of this civic debate.
What makes a leader?
And that's a great question, and we're having that discussion right now on Facebook and also on Twitter. We're talking about what is it that makes a leader. And I'll tell you, I've heard some really great insights. Some people say it's definitely not genetic. It's really about fostering people and people who have certain skills to exercise leadership. And I'll tell you, we have some great leaders in the urban community, but we want to make sure that they're exposed to the issues and they know how to engage people that make decisions on their behalf.
So you don't have to be born with it. You can foster it.
No, that's the old heroic idea of what leadership is. You kind of run up the hill and everybody gets behind you, but this doesn't work that way. And I've run up the hill, looked behind me, and nobody's there, right? And so we got to make sure we get into a situation where people know how to exercise leadership, and there's leadership all around us, and it's not just that charismatic person that we recognize as leaders in the past.
So it's happening Friday at the Jacobs Center, 8 in the mornings when it starts. Who is welcome to this?
Well, everybody's welcome. It's going to be a great debate and a discussion, I should say, and we're going to have a terrific panel of experts and people who have exercised this leadership in urban communities, focusing on, with the backdrop of Ferguson, on where do we go next.
Yeah. If you care about this community, it's a good place to go to find out more.
Everybody's going to be there. It's a hot place to be.
Is there a cost to get into this thing?
Yeah, I would say get online because we're almost sold out. $20 to go. We'll give you breakfast, and we'll have some of the best leaders in the city talking about it. And finally, I would say we're going to do this every month. So the next month we'll do something else, and during the breakfast on Friday we'll ask, hey, so what do you want? Great. What do you want to talk about next?
All right, we'll put that information on our website, KUSI.com, and get it out there. All right, Tony Young, thank you so much. That's Friday, 8 o'clock at the